What to do after you have selected the track which you are going to apply for. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and here I am back with another video on which university you should select for GKS. See, now it depends on person to person what the aim is, which university are they planning, but there are certain parameters which you should keep in your mind before selecting a university. And today I'll be sharing those parameters which I used during my time to select this university. So let's dive into the video and discover all the parameters. Now before going into that, let's see what all universities are available. So if you see the guidelines, you will find two types of universities, that is type A and type B. So type A is kind of a general institution, and type B is general plus regional institutions. So now these, how they are classified, it's all about the regions where they are, like the universities which is in the Seoul or near to Seoul, they are into type A, and the universities which are in different cities of Korea, they are in type B. So as you can see, these are the available universities as per the GKS 2021 guidelines. And the marked university which I have marked in type B, that is the university where I applied last year, that is in the 2021 application. Now the first thing what we see about a university is the ranking. It's obvious, like whenever someone is asking about a university, which university are you trying to apply, the first thing comes to the mind is that rank of the university. What rank is that? Of course that's a very big parameter, but that's not the only one parameter you should look at. So for say checking the ranks, there are several websites you can go on. That is, the first is the QS ranking, second is the Times ranking, that's the Time World University ranking, and the third is US News ranking. So these all are the ranking websites. You can just go on their website and then check the ranking of each universities. Like I'll show you how to check the ranking. So all you have to do is that go on Google, just search QS World Ranking. Once you get university ranking, you just have to click there, and in the location tab you just enter Korea. Once you enter Korea, you can find there are several universities coming in the list. So the first one is Seoul National University, followed by GKS, that is Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, then followed by Korea University. So as you can see, the ranks of all the universities are given here. So you can just check out the ranking of each universities, and then you can decide which university you want to apply for. That's the first process. But as I said before also, the ranking is not the only parameter you should look at. So what all next parameter you should be looking at? We will discuss that. Now the second parameter is subject oriented university. So there can be some universities which are good in some subjects, maybe the university A, which is good in maybe medical, university B, which is good in maybe engineering, but both the universities are good in their own field. So how can you decide? So then the parameters come is like subject ranking. So the websites which I was showing you right now, you can check the website again. Let's say we click on Seoul National University. Now if you drag down, you will see subject rankings. So you can select the subjects, which all subjects you want to apply for, and check the ranking of that university. So maybe if Seoul National University is good in mechanical engineering, maybe it's not that great as compared to Korea University in medical sciences. So there is a possibility like that. So subject rankings also matter. Now the next point in this parameter is that technology related universities. So if you see the list of the universities provided in the guidelines, you will see certain names of the university containing science and technology. What I mean to say is that I'm not saying that those universities are not good for other majors, but what I'm saying is that their universities mainly focus on science and technology. So I've highlighted those universities you can see. So maybe KGSP, then PostTech, Seoul Tech University. So these universities are like good for technology, maybe engineering related majors or natural sciences related majors. So if you are going for maybe master's degree or master's in business administration, so I'll suggest you to stay away from these universities, because these universities are well known for their research in engineering or sciences. So this is another parameter you should be looking at, the name of the university, which is like it's if it's containing technology or something like that is not or not. Now if you see the guidelines, there are 2 points mentioned in this here. The point is, applicants applying to science and engineering majors of regional university must choose universities from type B. What it means is that once you're filling the application, you have to check mark one of those parameters. So if you see the type of application, so maybe you will select general, or maybe you will select research, or maybe you will select science and engineering of regional university. So if you are selecting this science and engineering option, then what they're saying is that you will have to select a university from type B only. So as I said, type B is a general science and engineering kind of universities. So what I'm saying is that once you check mark this option in the application form, make sure to select the universities from type B. And if you check mark general, then you can select from any, like type A is also general, type B is also general. But if you select this one, then you only have to select from type B. But let's say if you're applying for engineering major, so for engineering majors or MBA majors, you can select from any type A or type B. I'm not saying that type B is only for engineering people, but again, what I'm saying is that if you are check marking this option, that is science and engineering majors of regional university, then the university which you select in the application form should be from type B. Similarly with the embassy track, there you have to choose 3 universities. So what they are saying is that out of 3 universities, 1 university should be from type B. So this is one doubt people keep asking, like what does that mean? So I wanted to share this. So the third point what I'm going to share is that your qualification versus the university. So there might be a possibility that the university which you are targeting is a very high high rated university compared to your application. I'm not demotivating you, but let's say if you are having a percentage of maybe 82% and you don't have any publications, you don't have any experiences, and if you're applying for Seoul National University, then the chances of selection will be very less. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to select a university which is kind of in acceptable limit related to your own portfolio. Like you should aim high, but not aim too high that the universities don't accept you. So that's one of the point I wanted to mention, that is the acceptance rate of the university. So the acceptance rate is the most important parameter, because let's say if you're applying to university track, because you can only apply to 1 university, and if you apply that only 1 university in too high kind of level university compared to your application, then the chances of acceptance is very less. So that's why you should find a university which is kind of at par of your level, and then you can go ahead with your application. So that's what I meant to say with this slide, that who are you? You should identify yourself, identify your level, and then you should select the university. You should aim higher, but not too higher. That's the reality you should face on. Then the fourth parameter is that language of instruction. Now this is one of the most important parameter, I would say, because once you get into the university, it's not only about which university are you, it's also about how are you going to stay there for 2-3 years or whatever your degree duration is. So let's say if you see the guidelines, if you see the available majors, then you will find that there are 3 types of language of instructions given in the guidelines. So the first one is Korean. That is, if you see the majors list, you will find that most of the universities are taught in Korean, and there are some universities which is written as Korean/English, and there are some universities which is totally English. So what does that mean? So Korean is, I understood that 100% it is Korean, like classes, everything will be in Korean and all, even the assignments and presentations, everything will be in Korean. Now Korean and English is something which depends on the professor. Let's say you are going for mechanical engineering and there are 5 subjects in one semester. Now out of 5 subjects which is taught by 5 different professors, maybe 3 professors are okay with English and 2 professors are not okay with English, like they are comfortable in Korean. So they will be taking the class in Korean, but other 3 professors, they will be taking the class in English. So it depends on the professor now. So that's what it is written, Korean/English. It depends on the course you choose. It depends on the program you choose. Now the third point is English. It's like 100% English. Now, actually, this is kind of a myth, because I would say, because there is no 100% English course in Asian countries. I would say, whether if you go to Japan or South Korea or any other, or China, there is no 100% course in English. The professors may use English teaching materials, but then you'll have to converse in Korean to your classmates maybe, and then maybe you'll have to submit the presentations in Korean. So it's like not 100%, but yeah, totally it will, like most of the classes will be in English, but not totally. So either you'll have to learn Korean anyway, or you'll have to adapt to the kind of classes which they are taking. Now that depends on the degree as well. Let's say if you are going for PhD. Now what the PhD candidate is doing in the college or in the university, they are just doing the research in the lab, right? Their activity is mainly related to research. Now, as a PhD candidate, you are not going into classes, you are not taking lectures. So all you have to do is that you have to just read research papers and work on your own experimentations or whatever you have the works to do, and you'll have to just converse with your professors and lab mates. So in that case, this language of instruction doesn't matter much, because then even if it's 100% Korean course, you'll have to sit in the lab only and doing the experimentations. So that Korean thing doesn't matter here. But if you are going for masters, you'll have to take classes. Now this language of instructions matter for most masters people, but for PhD you can choose any university irrespective of language of instructions, because you'll mainly be doing the lab activity and research work. So as I was saying, in Korean and English, or maybe in English 100%, there's a possibility that lectures may be in Korean, and the PPT which the professor will be showing, that will be in Korean plus English, and then assignments and reports which you'll have to submit, you can submit in English. So these on leniency will be provided to you even if it's 100% Korean course. But yeah, you will have to expect, like, you'll have to do classes in Korean, because and the thing is that the language year which you will be going for first year as a language student, the Korean which they will be teaching is like a general communicative course. Like you'll have to study further for academic level Korean, so that's not kind of easy job to do. So make sure you just look at the language of instruction before selecting a university. Now the fifth parameter is that location of the university. Now by location, what I mean is that, as I was saying, type A universities are mainly near to Seoul and its nearby cities. But there are certain advantages of choosing those universities. Now the first advantage is like the university ranking. Now if you see the university ranking, you will find that most of the universities which are located near Seoul or in Seoul, they have higher ranking. That's the one observation you can just make. Then other thing is job market. So once you graduate from the university, you should have a large number of companies available in the city to just go and just take the interview and then keep trying for the job and all that thing. But if you are on a remote location, maybe a smaller city, then the number of companies available will be less for you. So that is also an important parameter, job market. Like if the city is big, then the job market will also be big. So, and ease of living, like if there's a big city, of course there will be a lot of amenities. You can just go on and just visit the places. Like there will be a lot of amenities mainly in living also, and then commuting also. So ease of living is also a parameter. But contrary to everything, the cost of living will be higher in the big cities and Seoul. So the thing is that if you are planning to go for bigger cities, then you'll have to spend like maybe 95% of your stipend on these activities, maybe commuting, maybe accommodation and all this thing. And if you are planning for regional cities, like smaller cities, then you will be able to save some part of your stipend for your other activities. So this is an important parameter you should be taking care of, but not so important. But yeah, it's also important because then after graduation you should need a job. Maybe if you are planning for higher studies, then that's another plan. But if you are planning for job, then the city where you are graduating from also matters. Now the last thing I would like to say is that depending on the track, what all universities you should choose. Now for the embassy track, the thing is that you have to fill 3 choices. So the first choice, I always recommend to fill the most highest you can aim for. Maybe if you are aiming for Seoul National University, you can put Seoul National University as first choice. Maybe Korea University or the good universities, you can always aim high and put in the first choice. Second choice, I would suggest you to put the university where you are highly probable to get into. Like maybe your application is at par level with the Seoul Tech, and in the first option you have filled Seoul National University, so in the second option you should fill Seoul Tech. And in the third option, as you have to fill a type B university that is mandatory for embassy track people, then you can fill any type B universities that has almost 100% chances. Like, I'm not saying that all the type B universities have 100% chances, but yeah, mainly all the type B universities has the less competition amongst type A universities. So you can fill any university which you like, so that at least if you don't get in option 1, option 2, you will get in option 3. But don't fill that as a too low level university. That is also a bad thing. Let's say if you get that only, then it's gonna be a problem for you. So yeah, like the first option should be a great university. Second option, highly probable university. Third option, like, yeah, you are easily going into that university. And for the university track, if you are selecting a university, make sure you find a good research lab to work into, or maybe a professor, or maybe a department where you can just kind of explain everything in your study plan or personal statement. So university track, since you are selecting only one university, so this whole parameters, all the parameters which I have talked about, is very important for you to look into. And then if you are able to find a professor in that university, then that's the best part, and then you can go for that particular university. Also if you talk about a future prospect, so let's say if you are selecting a university, maybe if you plan to go for further studies, like maybe if you're planning to go for PhD after masters, or maybe after PhD you are planning to go for postdoctorate. Now for that thing, university ranking and everything matters, but more than that, what I feel is that professors also matter. Like, how good is the professor, how well known is that professor is. Now let's say if you're getting an assistant professor in Seoul National University and a associate professor or a professor in Seoul Tech, then I will say you to go for Seoul Tech and choose that particular professor, because he is a professor and he'll be having a wide network and kind of more well-known papers than the assistant professor. So it depends on each person, but what I'm trying to say is that if you are planning to go into academic fields, then professors matters more than the university. And the last part is job. If you are planning to go for a job, then of course university matters more than anything. So that's all the parameters which I wanted to share with you. Make sure you just go through all the parameters, and then if you like this video, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, so that I'll be making next videos very soon.